How are we doing for sound? Trish, can you hear me? Let me know. Good morning. Is the sound good? Give me a thumbs up on Facebook so I can see. In your little notes there. Can you hear me okay? Good morning. How are we doing? Looks to me like these guys are talking. Good. All right. Good morning, everybody. We're coming together. About another minute. Good morning from Chicago. Nicholas, good to see you. Or good to be seen, actually. Good morning from Palm Springs. Hearts flying. Here we go. Where's the Casper boy? Casper. Casper. Come on over here. Here we go. It's almost 8:30. It's almost 8:30. Okay. Come here. There you go. Oh my goodness, what a big boy. There's Casper. There's a Casper boy. There's a Casper. You gotta stay until 8:30 and then I'll let you down. You're a good boy. He's growing so fast we had to tone down his food. He's growing every which way. There's a mountain dog down here. You can see him. I don't know if you can see him down in the corner. Okay. Well, good morning, beloveds. Nice to see you this morning. Welcome from wherever you are in the planet and whatever time you're working. Here in Southern California, it's 8:30 in the morning, and this is when we do Coffee with Casper. So I wanted to ask you this question. How would it be? I mean, some of us are in different places in terms of where we're coming out. In terms of where we're coming out in the world, because we're in different ways in the way we feel about the pandemic, and the way we feel about how it is to be with other people, and the way we feel about how everybody's handling the rules, and everybody's going to need to move because it's happening in mass. There's no single answer that is the correct answer. We all have to find a way to manage in this thing and make our decisions about what's going to be healthy and what's going to be whole and so on. But I'd like you to think about the idea, I'd like all of us to think about the idea of what if I were to come into my most joyous, my most productive, my most successful mode of being, my most contentedness, my most happiness. What if I were to do this now? Not wait for things to get better or smoother, or for things to be explained to us in a way that we understand, because we're each going to need to move in accord with that something within us that knows and knows that it knows. We've been talking about that place of intuition within us. And to cultivate that place of intuition so that we can hear that still small voice and we know which way we're going is what we need to be doing in this particular time. I wrote an article not too long ago about the idea of flying. Of course, this is way before all of this happened. And the idea of flying is sometimes you could be at 37,000 feet on a perfectly nice airliner, and all of a sudden there'll be turbulence. And the turbulence sometimes could be rougher than you were expecting, or maybe you don't like turbulence, but as soon as that turbulence happens, the body goes into a reaction. And the heart starts to pound, things tighten up, we get a fear happening through us, and then the mind, as soon as that fear happens, goes into worst case scenario. What if it doesn't stop? What if something happens to the plane? What if whatever? And as we know, most cases, flying is pretty much like driving. It's a pretty safe thing to do. But nonetheless, we're at 37,000 feet, and that turbulence hits us and sends us into a shock wave. And you notice that we cannot enjoy the flight again until we get rid of that shock wave that's in our body, yes? So we're kind of, we know that those feelings of nervousness and tensions need to be released in order for us to get back to enjoying the trip, to enjoying the flight, to enjoying whatever we're traveling for. Well, in life, these turbulences happen, and they've been happening all around it. One of the turbulences is certainly COVID-19. Yeah, excuse me. One of the turbulences is the fear of the economy. One of the turbulences, family issues. One of the turbulences could be work issues. And of course, these days, as we're watching a shift in the race relations in our country, in the United States, we can see also integration or being integrated is causing turbulence because maybe we haven't been integrated before. And integrated means to make whole. So what we're dealing with in the world is a being made whole, an understanding of equality, and that equality belongs to all people, all races, all ways of being. We've seen both the government on the one hand shut things down in terms of health benefits for some of our community, and then on the other hand pass laws to make sure that the LGBT community is treated fairly. So there's all of these things happening, and then we look at the protest, we look at the call. Something within us is calling us to effect a genuine change that honors people. And then from all races, we don't know exactly how to participate in that call. And I love the idea that the planet was spinning before we got here, and no doubt the planet will be spinning when we leave. The question is, can we have been on the planet, can we live a lifetime on the planet where we can contribute, where our being on the planet has added something to the whole, that we make a difference. And every one of us, it has that capability to make a difference in the whole. There's a long time idea that's been out there since radio waves were discovering, and that idea is that humans are a kind of broadcasting station, that we are, through the sum total of our thinking, our thoughts, our words, and our feelings, everything we've ever said, thought, done, or felt, is contributing to this vibration that we create. I think that's one of my good friends from Florida is checking in. I think that's where Reverend Bob is. Anyways, nice to see you all this morning. So we're being inundated with this big change, and that's kind of like we're going along, and then the virus comes, and we hit turbulence, and we've never seen that kind of turbulence before. So the body goes into fear mode, and then the mind chases the fear mode with scary thoughts, and then we cannot return to normal until we can relax ourselves. And so here's where we've been talking about, that to cultivate this relationship with the divine by the means of our attitude is affecting our altitude, or our attitude is affecting the level of vibration that we're putting out into the world. And what we put out into the world, of course, reflects back into our lives as our experience. So the more that we can move away from fear and move away from our reaction to the turbulence in the world, and the more we can trust that the planet will spin and will always be spinning, that our job is not to make this planet spin. Our job is not to heal racism throughout the world. Our job is not to, perhaps your job, maybe it is your job to find the what's going to cure this pandemic, what's going to heal us, what's going to make us well. So who knows what exactly ours to do, but the point is we are not making the thing go. We are trying to find a way to align ourselves with the nature of the universe, which is already working. The universe actually works. But when we're in that fear and tension, we push away what works and we attract that which is tense and that which is fearful. So again, what we find is where we can make a difference is in how we're approaching our everyday. And I have shared with you before the wonderful quote from Yogananda, who wrote, Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote the autobiography of a yoga. He says we should read a little, meditate more, and think about God all the time. I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues recently where she brought up a faith tradition that believes that meditation is dangerous, that because these polarities in the world, what we call good and evil, that evil would enter in if you simply were to be. Well, here we're into another interesting discussion. Einstein, when asked later toward the end of his life, aloha from Hawaii, when Einstein was asked later in his life, what's the most important question? Einstein said, is the universe friendly? Now here's where we move from fear to faith, because discovering that the universe is friendly and relying on the universe that is friendly is coming to know that that which is source, that which is energy itself, that which I am immersed in, has created you in order to express in you and through you and as you as the actual love of the universe. The impulsion of the universe is love. That's why you hear through all these traditions, through all our studies, we hear that God is love. So if we look at energy, or the impulse of energy, the reason God creates itself and that we are, quote unquote, created in its image and likeness is because God loves itself. And God is thrilled of the glory of its own being. And so it recreated holographically, sliced the hologram. It created us in its image. We are not all of God. We are not making the universe spin, but we participate in that which makes the universe spin. And we can decide to align with that which makes the planet spin and the orbits continue, or we can decide that it's welcome from the UK, we're glad to see you. Or we can participate in this fear and doubt, or what the race is doing, because the big shift that's happening, remember, is we're all in this together. And you and I would be what we call light workers, or awakening beings. We've come to realize indeed the universe is friendly. Indeed the glory of God, as St. Ignatius we talked about last week, the glory of God is a human being fully alive. And so to discover our divine nature, our spiritual nature, and to bring it forth while celebrating our human nature, which also has our animal nature in it, but we need to bring those together. They do not integrate by themselves. Your individuality is what decides how the divinity of your being shall be integrated into your experience. How aware are you of the divinity of your being? And yet when all of this is happening all around us, we feel that we must do something. Okay, but you don't need to make this planet spin. You don't need to heal all the world's problems. You can do something in you and as you and with you. You can cultivate this relationship that you have with source energy, with the primary one, with perfect intelligence. It's a very difficult concept to get, that the mind that you use and the mind that I use is the same mind. Brain is functioning in a field of intelligence, and the brain is an instrument of the mind in the human experience. It's not the thinker itself. Mind exists without the brain. Because how do we know that? Because we can change organs, you can change lungs, you can change hearts, you can change livers, you can change kidneys, but you can't change brain, because brains are activated by mind, and mind is what makes the brain go. So we are always in mind. When you leave the physical body and therefore are not using the instrument of your brain, your mind will still be working, your consciousness will still be working. We'll say, well, how do you know that? Well, unfortunately, I've had the near-death experience. I've fallen off the mountain. I was not in my body. I was somewhere else. And I was conscious. And I was conscious of love. I was conscious of joy. I was conscious of who I am. I just didn't know where I was. And it took me, just as it does in the body, it took me to asking this field of intelligence in which I am immersed, where am I? Right? We have a right to know where am I, and we also have a right to know what is mine to do. What is mine to do around all of the shifting in our understanding of racism, and to make a decision to not just be neutral in that, but to be compassionate with everybody and everybody's challenges. There's no soul that does not have a challenge, because challenges is how we learn that we live in a friendly universe. Joseph Campbell, the mythologist, who said, who said, what is the big challenge in life is to tolerate your bliss. What if you went from not being afraid to tolerating your bliss, right? So, and we're given some pretty simple instructions on how to do this. Again, I'm going to use Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda, when he said, daily we meditate, and that's not to be afraid of the universe, that's to allow the very being of yourself. You see, when I have being, when I is, I say I am, right? It's an announcement of my existence. I am. That's how you say it in the first person. I am. And this I am that I am is the immortal self. I'm greater than my mind. I'm greater than my body. I'm greater than my experience. I am that I am. And when we begin to meditate, we begin to simply, if this were the whole, we allow ourselves to be just in the whole, knowing that to be held by the whole is to be held by Spirit itself, to be held by God itself, to be held by love itself. And our mind, again in turbulence, is always reacting to the turbulence in the world, as opposed to we're learning how to know that God is love, God is joy, God is freedom, God is peace, God is poise, God is grace, God is happiness. But we have to find the path to happiness. And the path to happiness is in a very simple little phrase. It's in thy will be done. Not my will be done. Thy will be done. So we're constantly reaching up to basically ask the question, what is mine to do? It isn't to spin the planet. It isn't to save the day. It's to do exactly your unique part. What is yours to do? And so daily we meditate, we're still, and we get in touch with that place where we begin to have confidence in the universe. No matter what germs or viruses are around, no matter what upset is in the world, no matter what nation is attacking what nation, because all of this is an unfolding of love learning. Surely there is the potential of nations being together in peace and harmony and joy and prosperity. But we will have to, each of us, billions of us on the planet, reach up and be asking that direct thing, that perfect intelligence that harmonizes all things, what is mine to do? Not what burdens do I have to take on in the world, but what is mine to do? What is mine to do in terms of kindness? What is mine to do in terms of service? You know, it was Albert Schweitzer who said a long time ago, he says, I do not know what your destiny will be, but I do know that those of you who have sought and found how to serve are the ones that will be happy. How to serve what? How to serve this unique divinity of yourself, this individualization of you, the special you that you are. What is yours to do? It's not the same as your brother to the left or your brother to your right. It's yours. And each one has the possibility, the capability of discovering what's yours to do. But we need to be still and listen. Daily we meditate. So he says, read a little. Yogananda says, read a little. You need to know the events of the world. You feel like you need to catch up. You need to understand, heck, I'm reading a couple of newspapers from the East Coast, one from the East Coast and one from the West Coast, just so I don't want other people's opinions. I want my own. I need to read enough so that I can establish what's mine to do. What do I think and feel is the right thing to do? Read a little. Not too much, because you'll get inundated with turbulence. If you keep reading about turbulence, you're going to be vibrating and bumping around in the turbulence. Yes? So we read a little, enough so that we can make informed decisions, so that we can ask perfect intelligence, which way do I go? What's mine to do? What's the best way to tune in? Canada is watching. Welcome, welcome. So this is, read a little. Don't get inundated with information. Get enough so that you understand what's going on and you can make your own choices. Read a little. Meditate. Be still. Trust. You know, one of the easy ways, if you're not practicing meditation, is to repeat a few simple affirmations. I am, God is love, I am love. God is peace, I am peace. Simple affirmations, right? Simple effort. Intelligence is all around me. I am intelligence. Simple ones. Repeat them over and over and quietly to yourself and still. So you repeat them and then calm down. Notice your breath. Be grateful that you're breathing calmly and easily. These are the beginning of meditation techniques, so we can let this nurturing presence take us away from the chattering of our mind and into someplace still. Read a little, meditate more, and now the last line is think about God all the time. Well, God's a big word. God's a very big word. But think about that source of your life. Think of all the good that's in your life. The way to move forward is to practice gratitude in the simplest way. Read a little, meditate more, and practice gratitude. Practice loving your life as it is today. Practice dreaming, intending how you're going to go forward. This is ours to do, and each one of us can do it. Each one of us is given the gift to discern what is mine to do, and then to quietly and gently and freely and happily go out and bring that service, whatever that is, whether it's extending your compassion to the market or to the people who serve you all around you, to your family, to your friends, whoever needs your help. All of us have the capability of entering into a place where we are sharing in infinite compassion. We cannot run out. It's okay to care. You don't need to solve everything. You only need to do your part. Read a little, meditate more, and be grateful for your life as it is today and for the capability you have to dream forward, to dream it into being more alive, more alert, more aware, more in tune. I'm alive, awake, aware, joyous, and enthusiastic about living. My friends, it's been my honor to be with you this morning. Share this message anywhere where you know it will bring some good. If anybody has questions, feel free to ask them, and I'll answer them either here or directly through Facebook. It's been my honor and privilege to be with you. Thanks for sharing your light in the world. I will be back here next week. Casper will be back here next week. And remember, from Casper's point of view, every day is the best day ever. Make it a great day. Make it a great week. Lots of love. Bye for now.